For a decade, I chased self-improvement. Every day, I woke up with a burning desire to be better than I was the day before. I read countless self-help books, attended seminars, and followed the advice of every guru I could find. I was caught in a cycle of striving, always setting new goals and pushing myself to achieve them. My calendar was always full, and my journal was filled with plans and aspirations, always reaching for a better version of myself. I climbed metaphorical mountains, crossed finish lines, and celebrated small victories, but it never felt like enough. I believed that if I could just fix my flaws and achieve my goals, I would finally be worthy of love and belonging. I spent countless nights studying, working, and perfecting myself, hoping that one day I would be good enough. I would finally be worthy of love and belonging. I longed for acceptance and validation, thinking that my achievements would earn me the love I craved. This pursuit consumed my thoughts and actions. My desk was cluttered with self-help books and notes, and I spent hours on the phone discussing my plans and progress. Each morning I woke up with a plan. I stretched, took a deep breath, and prepared myself for another day of relentless striving. My checklist was my guide, and I was determined to conquer it. I was determined to conquer my to-do list and become the best version of myself. I worked diligently, crossing off items one by one, feeling a sense of accomplishment with each task completed. I believed that self-worth was earned through achievement and constant progress. I received awards and certificates, and my vision board was filled with goals and dreams. This relentless pursuit, however, left me feeling exhausted and perpetually inadequate. Despite all my efforts, I was always tired, overwhelmed, and never felt like I was enough. The more I achieved, the more I felt the weight of my own expectations. It was a never-ending cycle of striving and self-doubt, and I began to wonder if I would ever find true contentment. My days were ruled by habit trackers and goal-setting journals. I meticulously tracked my food intake, exercise routines, and productivity levels. I believed that if I could just maintain enough discipline, I would finally reach a place of self-acceptance. The colorful grids and charts promised control and progress, yet they often became a source of anxiety. Every unchecked box felt like a personal failure, a reminder of my perceived shortcomings. The pressure to maintain a perfect record became suffocating. Despite my best efforts, I often fell short of my own expectations. The goals I set felt more like burdens than aspirations. I berated myself for every misstep, every moment of weakness. The weight of unmet expectations became heavy to bear. I was trapped in a cycle of self-criticism and shame. The more I strived for perfection, the more acutely aware I became of my perceived flaws. The joy of living was lost in the pursuit of an elusive ideal. Exhausted and disillusioned, I decided to embark on a radical experiment: 30 days of unconditional self-acceptance. No more self-criticism, no more striving for an idealized version of myself. For 30 days, I would simply allow myself to be, flaws and all. This idea both terrified and intrigued me. It felt like a dangerous proposition, a recipe for complacency. What if accepting myself meant giving up on growth? What if it meant resigning myself to a life of mediocrity? Section 5. Day 1. Meeting myself where I am. The first day of the experiment was unsettling. Without my usual routines and self-imposed pressures, I felt unmoored, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. I sat with my discomfort, allowing myself to feel the fear and vulnerability that arose. For the first time, I truly paid attention to the critical voice in my head. Instead of trying to silence it, I simply observed it with curiosity. I began to recognize the patterns of negative self-talk that had become so ingrained in my psyche. Section 6. The unfolding journey. Letting go of perfection. As the days turned into weeks, something unexpected happened. I began to notice subtle shifts in my mindset and my daily experiences. It was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, a weight I hadn't even realized I was carrying. The constant pressure to be perfect, to meet every expectation, and to never falter was slowly dissolving. As I released the need to be perfect, I began to experience a newfound sense of freedom. It was liberating to let go of the fear of making mistakes. I found myself dancing in the rain, laughing without restraint, and embracing the spontaneity of life. The world seemed to open up in ways I had never imagined. I allowed myself to make mistakes, to embrace imperfection, and to simply be present in each moment. Journaling became a therapeutic practice where I could pour out my thoughts without judgment. Meditation by the lake brought a sense of peace and clarity. Engaging in creative activities like painting allowed me to express myself freely, without the constraints of perfectionism. I started to notice the simple joys in life again, the warmth of the sun on my skin, the sound of laughter, the rustling of leaves in the wind. These moments, which I had previously overlooked in my pursuit of perfection, now held a profound significance. They reminded me of the beauty that exists in the present moment, the taste of a delicious meal. Sharing meals with friends became a cherished ritual. The act of cooking and savoring food was no longer just a necessity, but a celebration of flavors and togetherness. Each bite was a reminder to slow down and appreciate the richness of life. My days were no longer consumed by the pursuit of self-improvement, but by a growing appreciation for the beauty and wonder of life itself. Watching sunsets, enjoying picnics with family, and taking leisurely strolls through gardens became my new priorities. These simple pleasures brought a sense of fulfillment that striving for perfection never could. In letting go of perfection, I found a deeper connection to myself and the world around me. It was a journey of self-discovery, one that taught me the true essence of living fully and authentically. Section 7. The Unexpected Gifts of Acceptance. To my surprise, the more I accepted myself, the more I began to thrive. It was as if a heavy burden had been lifted off my shoulders, allowing me to breathe freely and live more fully. I realized that self-acceptance wasn't about settling for less or giving up on self-improvement. Instead, it was about recognizing my worth and embracing my journey, with all its ups and downs. I had more energy, more creativity, and a deeper sense of peace than I had ever known before. This newfound energy fueled my passions and hobbies, allowing me to explore new interests and rediscover old ones. I found myself painting, writing, and engaging in activities that brought me immense joy. The simple act of being present in the moment without judgment opened up a world of possibilities. The things I had been striving for, happiness, fulfillment, connection, began to flow effortlessly into my life. It was as if the universe had been waiting for me to accept myself before showering me with these blessings. My relationships deepened, and I found myself surrounded by people who genuinely cared for me. The connections I made were more authentic and meaningful, built on a foundation of mutual respect and understanding. By silencing the inner critic and embracing my authentic self, I had inadvertently unlocked a wellspring of creativity and joy. The negative self-talk that once held me back was replaced with a nurturing inner voice that encouraged growth and self-expression. I began to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. This shift in perspective allowed me to approach life with a sense of curiosity and wonder. The world seemed brighter, the possibilities endless. Every day felt like a new adventure, filled with opportunities to learn and grow. I started to appreciate the small moments of joy that I had previously overlooked. Whether it was a beautiful sunset, a kind gesture from a stranger, or a moment of quiet reflection, I found beauty in the everyday. The more I accepted myself, flaws and all, the more I found myself surrounded by love, support, and genuine connection. It was a reminder that we are all worthy of love and belonging, just as we are. Acceptance is not a destination, but a continuous journey of self-discovery and growth. And in this journey, I found that the greatest gift of all was the ability to live a life true to myself, filled with love, joy, and endless possibilities. Section 8. Growth through letting go. The most profound realization of this experiment was that true growth doesn't come from self-criticism or striving for perfection. It comes from a place of radical self-acceptance. When we embrace ourselves, flaws and all, we create space for profound transformation. This is the paradox of self-acceptance. It is not about complacency or resignation. It is about recognizing our inherent worthiness, embracing our imperfections, and showing up in the world as our authentic selves. Section 9. An invitation to radical self-acceptance. This is my invitation to you. Embrace the radical act of self-acceptance. Let go of the need to be perfect and allow yourself to be perfectly imperfect. You are worthy of love and belonging just as you are. Embrace your flaws, celebrate your strengths, and step into the fullness of who you are. The world is waiting for your unique gifts, your authentic voice, your perfectly imperfect self.